You there, man?
Yeah, I'm clocking. I'm at 56%.
Oh, yeah, no, we're live. You can intro right now.
Oh, I can intro right now. I
Yeah, so I
apologize.
say.
Oh, I'm sorry. From the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, Flux Motorsports brings you Season 5 of the 2021 IndyCar Series. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joey Maynard, alongside Carlin Hicks up here in the booth,
How are y'all doing?
getting ready for a very exciting evening of IndyCar racing. Looking forward to a good night. We've got a lot of past winners. Have our last two IndyCar champions, Cat Guy and Ty Joe. Outstanding drivers in their own right. And looking forward to a great night.
Yeah, I'm going to get the feed going here. Got to get myself set up. Sorry about that, folks. We'll get a map here on the reigning champion. Just waiting for somebody to come out of the pit. There he is, waiting for his shot. Ty Joe from the Philippines, actually. The Joby Marcelo of the modern generation.
Last year's champion didn't win a race.
No, did not win a race to win the championship. He was just easily the most consistent. Yeah, he was on the podium, I think, 5 times in what turned out to be, I think, 7 races. No, it was 8 races. He wound up with 5 podiums and won the championship. And as I said, a driver from the Philippines, I believe Joby Marcelo, who lost his life at Indianapolis in '92, was the first Filipino driver in the 500. Well, Joey, he's the first Filipino Flux IndyCar champion.
Here he is. This kid is an incredible driver. He really was truly consistent last season. Looking forward to watching him run tonight. We've got a lot of newcomers in here tonight, too. Looking forward to seeing some of them running tonight.
Let's take a look at Cat Guy. Hadn't come out yet. Waiting to see him get back out here. Well, how about Pogo in the Boy Scout car?
Pogo's a great driver.
Was the winner of the special event earlier this calendar year in the rallycross cars, a night in hell over in Hell, Norway. Beat a field of 30 in that one, and he does not have a win in the 2 seasons of Flux IndyCar, but in the old league, Pogo had won 4 or 5 times in these, including at this track, so he's definitely a contender.
He's an incredibly consistent driver. He keeps pace week in and week out, and just a quality driver. I'm looking forward to actually watching Cat Guy too. Cat Guy is the leader all time in Flux IndyCar championship wins. He has 4.
That's an interesting story too, because in the opening season, when the American Tour came to Flux in the 3rd season of competition, Cat Guy was dominant. He won 4 out of 7 races on the way to the championship, and then in the defense last season, horrible luck. He got caught up in a lot of accidents that had nothing to do with him. Starting right here in this race, the first event of the season, the traditional opener at Daytona. And
he was just a spectator.
Yeah, he never really got it together after that. He kept, every time he put up a run, I remember the week he finally got back on the podium, next thing you know, he was, wrecking the next week. So that's the thing. Those of us who've been racing here a long time know that Daytona is a crapshoot. You just got to stay in it to the end. And the guys who are running and are thinking championship at the end of the season, they have to basically let's get ICE to come into this race and go, let's get out of here with a top 5.
And if there's one thing that is true, especially with these cars on a track like Daytona, you definitely cannot win this race on the first lap, but you sure can lose it real quick.
Oh yeah, you can put this thing in the wall. It's going to take, even with a caution, you'll lose 2 or 3 laps repairing the car.
At least.
And while with the wave arounds and whatnot, you might be lucky enough to get it back. The simple fact is that what are you going to get? It's going to be a 15 car field. You might be lucky if you get into the top 10. And over the course of an 8-round season, every point counts. So if it does happen, you have to try to drive your way back.
And I think that's what's going to make it exciting tonight is watching some of these rookie drivers dealing with the dirty air on an oval like Daytona.
Oh, 100%. Get on HHVC. There's a car brand new to Flux. This is, I think, his first Flux championship start in any class, and that's a great example. A lot of guys, you don't know if they have prior experience running the championships and under other sanctioning, but one of the things you look for is a lot of guys have run these cars out here in time trials or for 5-10 lap sprint races, but doing it for what's going to wind up, I mean, if you have no cautions in this race, you'll run at least 70 laps, so that's about 175 miles. With the yellows, it might knock that back by 5 or 6, but the fact is that a lot of guys are fast for 3 or 4 laps. Can you do it for the whole race and do it in traffic? Because as I was saying to the drivers before the race, when you're in dirty air and you're losing the air off of the wings here, you're driving a bathtub with wheels.
And the other thing about this track is with the temperature, we're under a heavy cloud cover right now, so the track temperature is really not going to get much greater than it is right now. If anything, it's actually going to go down, which is going to affect grip.
Oh yeah, it's going to get cooler. Excuse me, it's not a particularly cool track here tonight or anything. It's probably pretty good conditions, but you're right. This qualifying's at the 1900 hours. The race will be at 2000 hours. It's just going to get cooler, darker, at least, especially until the Live Track 2.0 puts the rubber down. When you start to see the line rubber up, we might get some better grip that way. But until that happens, you don't know. A lot of it is just working your way through the corners here. And what I'm concerned about is the guys, like you said, the veterans. They know what that air is doing. You look at Pogo right here. He's not right on the guy in front of him. He is about a car length, half a car length back. He's feathering the throttle to stay there because feathering the throttle at 232 is faster than 240 down to 225, 240 down to 225. So he's racing it right. He's getting a little clean air right there. You see him stick his nose out. Now that other car's pulling off.
Yeah, but he was moving in and out to get the clean air, to see how it actually run aerodynamically with the clean air, but also at the same time taking a look at what he's going to be running against by running up behind a newer driver.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to try to break it out, but I mean, the early part of the race, you got 15 cars in a big pack together, and the dirty air is just the key here. As I said, I've done a lot of coaching in this type of racing for drivers over the years, and most of the guys who come from a road racing background, they're kind of flummoxed as to, why is it I'm so slow? And it's like, or they'll say I ran the time trial and I was top 3, but what happened in the race? And I'm like, the thing is that it's all about managing that air, and like we were talking about Pogo doing, you're going to come up behind somebody. It's faster to maintain a certain distance and just run in that wake than it is to keep speeding up and slowing down because you're catching them or leapfrogging them back and forth. And the guys who understand that, they're going to be the ones who are quick here.
And in the same light, I think another thing that's going to be really interesting, again with the new guys, not so much with the veterans, is if we do get long green runs, you're going to need to pit.
Oh yeah, you have to pit for fuel.
And how many of these guys have pitted under green, and how many of them have actually practiced pitting under green, and what that's going to take to get down and get underneath that line to get in. I can tell you from personal experience, just running the few races that I ran with you guys last year, at this time in practice, I was practicing pit stops.
Well, my wife just asked me why can't they fuel it while they're driving. I think she's thinking of those jet planes where the smaller plane flies down and sticks its little plane thingy into the other plane and fuels it. No, we cannot do that in IndyCar racing. I think
that would make it interesting.
How about a couple of big drones that can go to? I mean, we have the drone, the technology. Look at what Flux TV has here, folks. This is our drone chase cam. That is a drone flying at 240 miles an hour by a 13-year-old polymath from Cambridge, Massachusetts. And I mean, I almost makes me think, why watch IndyCar racing? Let's watch drone racing if this guy can go 240 miles an hour and stay in the wake of an IndyCar. But
Right?
all jokes aside, yes, they will have to come in for fuel. You're looking right there at just piddling in the number 2 Penske car. But they are going to have to pit for fuel at least once. I think at Daytona, you got to get in and out cleanly, not get a speeding penalty on pit lane. That's will cost you 10 seconds minimum, sometimes 50. So you might lose a lap with a speeding penalty.
And we got to emphasize. We also have to emphasize that the speed limit on pit road here at Daytona is 37 miles an hour.
Yeah, you got to get way down. I think it gives you a little bit of leeway past that on the entrance to the pit lane, but not much.
So when you're coming off a 3 coming out of 4, and you're doing $190, you got to drop it down real quick. And here's a great example. Just Puddin actually pulling in right now.
Yeah, showing exactly how it's done. He's slowing way down. He gets that's the line with the cones right there.
There it's 37 miles an hour.
That is perfect. He was the rookie of the year last season in the GTE class of the American Sports Car Championship. So I look for him to be a definite contender this year. Meanwhile, the champ, I think he's running solo. I want to get into somebody that's trailing. Let's go Immortalis. This is in the cockpit with Immortalis he's in the Pennzoil car, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
The other Penske Pennzoil. Immortalis, a regular on the sports car championships on the European side. First time we've seen him in an IndyCar. And
it's a different kind of run.
Oh yeah, I mean, looking forward to seeing him on the places he's more familiar with, like we get to Long Beach and Watkins Glen and places like that. But here on the oval, let's see what he's doing right now. It doesn't look like he's put in a lap with anybody, so I don't think you're looking at a representative time yet. But interested to see how the road racing specialist goes. You always have those guys that came over to IndyCar, like the Sebastian Bourdais and the Dario Franchittis, and
And right now he's running about 9/10 off the leader.
Yeah, and
I think he's really just kind of feeling it out right now. He's not even really looking at catching anybody or even letting somebody come behind and seeing if he can pull in tow. He's just kind of like feeling the car out, I think, at this point.
With the notable exception of, wanting to be, ahead of whatever big accident might take place. At Daytona, it's really about, it doesn't matter where you start. You can win this race from the back of the field. It's just, you're more comfortable being in front of any potential wreck, but I wouldn't feel bad if it was my first start in the series like it is for him. I don't start 13th. Start 13th and let the race come to you. Just avoid whatever you might run into.
My first start was at Daytona, and I started rear of the field. I had no problem with that at all. Watch the big boys run.
Yeah, you really just got to give it a race like this. Like I said, I've been mostly in the booth in the Flux Motorsport days. I did run a stock car race here a couple seasons ago, and everything was fine. And then 10 minutes in, somebody door slammed me into the infield, and you're fixing the car and playing catch up 3 laps down. So the reality is just stay early in the race, just watch what's unfolding in front of you. There's no reason to get nervous, as I was saying in the warm up. These kind of races don't really start until you've made a green flag pit stop. When you made a green flag pit stop, then you come out, you're in different little packs, and that's when things change. That's when you see what everybody has.
Those first 25, 30 laps are nice. You get to learn the car, you get to kind of run, you get to keep your nose clean. You make that pit stop, come out, and now the race begins.
Now here's an interesting story from last season. Super Crusher in the 28 DHL car's teammate is the 27 Snapple car there of Revs Martin. Now that right there is a father and son team. They ran in the American Sports Car Championship last season. Super Crusher has won races in the GTEs. Revs Martin got his first podium, I think, last season, but now they're running Indy cars. And for those of us old school guys from the old SCL days, shades of Kip and Colio right there. Father and son running. I don't know if they're sitting side by side like those guys were, but they've been running in the same cars for 3 seasons now. And right now they're 5th and 6th on the time chart here in qualifying, and I'm interested to see how they team up.
I was just going to say, that can be a real bonus when you're actually running with somebody, like that. And as a matter of fact, Supercrusher just ran the fastest lap.
There you go, running together. I think he was the one trailing and got it done, but you can see the separation. I mean, it's less than...
And you're looking now where they've actually switched places.
Yeah, now here goes Rev. So they have a plan. Let's get in his cockpit and see what it is he's seeing. They're bouncing around. Now, a lot of that is, yes, the car bounces around. A lot of it also is latency. There's a little bit of latency. Our good buddy Daz, who was our old tech guy, would tell us 240 times the speed that the Project Cars 2 runs at equals not quite fast enough for this kind of speed. So that's what some of that is, but it's also because these cars bounce around a lot at 240 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you can actually see the difference when from the straight he goes into the turn, and now you're seeing the bouncing.
Yeah, it's a little exaggerated by the latency. I'm not like that. What you just saw in front of you, that's an exaggerated latency bounce, but it is a legitimate movement of the suspension.
And here they are working together, even coming into the pits. This is going to be an interesting dynamic for the rest of the night.
That is the sign of 2 veterans who are smart. I tell guys all the time when I watch them in practice, and they're coming off the track, and they run some practice laps, and then they reset it back to the pits, return to pit box. And I say, why didn't you practice making the pit stop? Why didn't you practice coming into the pit lane? Did you run down to old tires? Oh, yeah, I did 30 laps. Well, then why'd you waste that opportunity to practice making a pit stop on old tires?
Exactly what I said I did last year. Was I made sure that I used that opportunity to see how pitting under old tires and how long it was going to take and what I was actually going to come out with would work. And it's an outstanding way of working your pit strategy too.
Yeah, it's something you definitely should, work on that kind of stuff. And speaking of guys who, one of the great things to talk about with IndyCar is, and the reason I like it as a fan, is it's the most diverse motorsport championship in the world. No other major racing series asks you to race on street circuits, permanent road courses, and ovals, and short ovals, speedways, the whole 9 yards. And so you're always going to be talking about specialists. We got guys like we expect Immortalis, Ty Joe, who's the defending champion. Those guys are more road racing specialists. This guy right here, Ed Yeager, is he's like the Ed Carpenter of Flux. He ran really well over a couple seasons, and then last season, final race of the season at Texas Motor Speedway, he won. So he's technically is the winner of the last race that was run in this series, and he's a guy that he'll be patient. If he doesn't get caught up in somebody else's stuff early, he'll wait till the 5 minutes to go, green to the finish, until he tries to put a move on anybody. That's a guy who knows how to win in these races, is what I'm saying.
Well, since we got a little less than 2 minutes remaining, I want to tell everybody that if you're interested in this kind of racing, and if you enjoy watching this and enjoy the idea of esports racing, check out Flux Motorsports on the Discord. Outstanding people, a terrific project, all different kinds of racing. We have IndyCar, we have LMPs, we have GT3s, some outstanding racing, some outstanding people. You get to meet a lot of wonderful people from all around the world, actually. We've got gentlemen in this race, as we said before, from the United States, Philippines. I believe we have some British drivers. Is that correct?
Yeah, U.S., Philippines, Australia, Great Britain, Canada, Scotland, I believe. Yeah, it's an international series. We run, as we said, several forms of several classes in the Flux Sports Car Championships, plus Indy cars, plus touring car racing, Formula Renaults. We also have NASCAR and F1 on the way. So, yeah, hit fluxmotorsport.com and check us out.
I'm looking forward to the NASCAR series.
Oh, yeah, we're getting down now inside of 30 seconds. It's going to be a looking for that pole bonus.
You can see here's a pack of 3. Trying to come across, see if we can get a faster time. 36.321 is the leader so far. I think we're going to get much faster than that. And the qualifying has been completed. Looks like Super Crusher 008 will be our pole sitter for the first race of the season here at Daytona.
No, it looks like Revs might have jumped it.
Revs look like they jumped it. Wow, a late crosser, Revs Martin. 36.281.
All right, go ahead and give us a starting lineup there, Joey.
Starting lineup for tonight's race, we got Revs Martin with Taijo lining up beside him. Row 2, Super Crusher with Cracked Piston. Row 3, Pogo Mojo and Muttley.
Veteran row right there.
Oh, yes, definitely. Row 4, Ed Yeager and Just Pidlin. Row 5, Cat Guy and Mark 61384.
That's the Aussie driver.
And, let me see if I can get to the next. Row 6 is HHVC and Survivor 1880. Row 7 we got Immortalis UK and Green Gaming. And running up in the back, McToasty 13 starts 15th.
I'll expect to see McToasty moving up. He's a way too quick of a driver. I think he probably didn't put something in practice there, but we'll see what he's got coming all the way from the back of the field as they're going to get ready to go. I'm going to start off on the track side here. Oh, and it looks like Joey got booted from the session. If that's a problem, just use the same invite and get back in there once we get rolling. I'll get us started here. Yeah, once they're rolling, just use the same invite and should be able to get back into the room.
Wait, I got to wait until they start though, right?
You can try it now, but it might not let you until they've started the race. But either way, getting ready for the start here. Revs Martin taking his first career pole in the Flux IndyCar Championship, and he's got the defending champion Taijo right on the outside. We'll start right here, but I like to get to the chase cam at the rear of the field pretty quickly in a race like this so you can see what's developing in front of you. But we're going to let him take the line in the 2x2 formation. It might take a minute for you to get back to where you can use the camera and all that, Joey, so just hang tight. You should be able to get in there once they get you rolling.
I actually think I'm coming in now. I apologize for getting bounced out like that.
That server's going to hit who they're going to hit. These guys getting ready, about 30 seconds till they're going for sure. A lot of guys farther back, Ed Yeager, Cat Guy, Pogo. These guys are all mid-pack. Muttley, I got to mention, in 5th there in the 22 Menards car. Muttley is a 2-time winner of this race back under the pre-merger sanctioning league. And so he's a veteran here in these cars and knows how to run this race. Like I said, it's really about setting yourself up for the round of pit stops and for making a run at it in the final 5 or 10 minutes. Because early in the race, it's just about not getting caught up in the big one. You got to see who you trust, and if there's someone running behind you, you don't. Stay away from them. As we go green, we got a number of cars in the back that didn't get going. I'm wondering if they're going to wave it off. No, it appears as though they're going.
Nope, they're going. We are green. Revs Martin pulling out ahead.
It's like he's got Super Crusher behind him.
Yep, we're getting in line pretty well, Super Crusher, Taijo, and Muttley.
All right, let's get some chase cam in the line here. Looking at 6th place Pogo. As you're right, they're just settling in right now. Very good start. I mean, they were a little strung out in the back, but pretty good start altogether.
No, but this is an outstanding start up in the front where everybody can kind of get themselves stretched out. Everybody get comfortable for a few laps. Let's get the tires warmed up. Definitely want to stay below that stripe line up there. You get up there and you can almost cancel Christmas at that point.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see where they're at here in the back. Looks like somebody hit the wall already. Survivor going in the pit lane.
Survivor's taking an early pit.
He has some. I'm checking the timings because it's saying a 5-second penalty. That looks like a jumping of the start.
That's why that seems like what it is.
Now that may be something that those drivers can contest at the end of the race and have it wiped, which it likely would be in a situation like that. They obviously gain no advantage, you know, being stuck there at the back. So I would say that 5-second penalty will likely be forgiven by the race marshals, but unofficially it's still on the board at the moment.
Won't know anything about it until the race ends, but right now we've got looks like Taijo here running in 5th.
Yeah, looking at Revs Martin, Super Crusher, the teammates are up front, father and son. Muttley's 3rd, Cracked Pistons 4th, and Pogo Mojo has just blown his motor. So we've got the first blown engine of the season.
Oh, no.
If you can, I can probably, I got to do it with the camera, so I can't do it. I was going to say you can invite him into the party, and we'll see if he'll join us and curse about his motor program for a minute, but no such luck.
Get him in. Yeah, we can get him in. I'd love to talk to him about it.
Yeah, you would have to go back into that party and then invite him, add player to the party, and then bring him in. I can't leave the camera at the moment, which I wouldn't want to because we've got the first 6 pretty much on a breakaway here back to HHVC. And then there's a couple 3-second gap.
And it's the father-son up front.
You can see that second pack forming right behind them. If you're looking at the map in the corner there, guys, the blue arrow is the car we're on. Blue cars are lap down cars. The white cars are the ones on the same lap. So right now, yeah, Revs Martin and Super Crusher are running nose to tail and just setting the pace right now. And everybody in that front 6 is being smart. They realize they've left 9 cars behind them, and they're just going to run in the line right now.
Yeah, Cracked Piston moved into 3rd, getting around Muttley. He's running a great line.
Muttley, I think, is very likely deliberately falling to the back of this group. Not in one movement, mind you, but Muttley, as they catch up to him, if he's maintaining the gap in front of him, Muttley will likely pull and let him around. I know how Muttley thinks, and he likes to be at the end of this line.
And at the same time, though, he does look like he's also settled in pretty well right now in 4th. But I do agree that once the 5th and 6th place drivers, Taijo and HHV, do catch up, I do see him kind of sliding out and just following back.
Let's take a look at the second group. There are 4 cars in this second group. Just Piddlin, Ed Yeager, Cat Guy, and McToasty. They're running about 6 seconds back, and right now they're not lapping as fast as the guys up front.
No, and that obviously shows you the difference when you're running single file as opposed to 2 wide.
Yeah, these guys haven't got it under control yet. Now they're kind of running in a line, but they may have different, sometimes you can't run with somebody nose to tail. Your setups are different, and your the air's too dirty for one to be in the back following or whatnot. These guys are separating in the corners quite a bit. As you can see, they're running side by side in the front with the 2 cars in the back kind of feeling it out, and that's losing time to these guys up front who are doing this.
Yes, and there's also the issue, and it's not a knock on any driver, but there's also the issue of familiarity. A lot of these guys that we're looking at in that backpack, Cat Guy and Ed Yeager, they've run together for quite some time.
Yeah, Cat Guy and Ed Yeager are familiar. McToasty and Just Piddlin, a little less track time with those 2, but I think once they get in a line together, and Cat Guy's probably talking to them right now and telling them, guys, we got to line up. He's in the Pure Tech car right there. as I said, the third season of Flux took the inaugural IndyCar championship with 4 wins from
See, right
7
here,
races.
but right here is the way they're going to make up time. If they stay in that line, if they stay together, if they cut through the air together, this is where they're going to make up that time. This is where you're going to see 5 to 10 miles an hour increase in speed if they just stay in this line.
And you also have to be with the right person. And it may be that 1 or 2 of these cars aren't pulling hard enough or whatnot, and it may be that the ones up front are just hooked up better. It's tough to tell.
And that's where being familiar with the driver in front of you comes in.
Seeing Ty Joe in the Susan B. Komen car. Let's get some more of that cockpit view here. What he's seeing 6th in the line. He's got the floaty car in front of him, which is not Muttley. That is a lapped car. That's a Survivor.
That's a lapped car. That's Survivor.
Yeah, he's trying to get by Survivor here and stay with the front group, and it may be that he's losing time here.
And he doesn't want to lose that. He doesn't want to get caught up in that.
He's coming now. I think
he's coming now. But first, it's good that you got past that lap car. But you definitely, once you get past that lap car, you don't want to get up in the models, and you don't want to get above that dotted white line.
Yeah, absolutely. Get back in the cockpit with him. Survivor got out of the way and got into the line. That's exactly what he wants to do. He's only 1 or 2 laps down, maybe just went 2 laps down. So for Survivor, it's not over yet anyway. So he's running at the tail end of this line, but you're looking at what Ty Joe's seeing. And as we said, he won the championship without winning a race last season. I believe he was 4th in this race, and that was his first time racing at this track. So he knows what he's doing right here. He's just waiting. He's going to try to go by Muttley right here. They got to be careful with this. The longer you're 2 side by side, that line in front of you will leave you in a hurry. As we said, Muttley falls right back into position. And that's a move you feel more comfortable making it when you got that lapped car trailing you because you got somebody to pick you up.
And I'll tell you right now, the difference for a lot of fans that are watching Daytona and picking stock cars, the stock cars tend to line up a lot easier than they do here because there's a lot more dirty air when it comes off these Indy cars.
Oh yeah, you're looking at 230, 240 miles per hour. As I was saying earlier, the big difference between a composite body race car like a NASCAR, ooh, is there some bump in there from the lap car?
Is that Muttley up in the wall?
I don't think it was Muttley. I think it's the 98, and the 98 was HHVC. Looks like he's caught it now. They look all to be okay. They continue to pull away from those guys behind them, but like I was saying, the difference between a composite kit car, so to speak, and a monocoque formula car is that when you're in the air like this, and it's taking the air like a car in the middle of that line has a car in front, car behind, so it's getting no air on the front or the rear wing, it's a bathtub. It's a bathtub with a steering wheel. You're like a soapbox racer at 240 miles an hour. So you really have to drive with your feet. If you're smart, you're seeing the guys here that are maintaining a car length or 2. They're doing that by feathering the throttle and then pressing it when they want to make a run. And there is no push to pass in these like there are in the Indy cars on a road course. So it's all about momentum.
Yep, and that's why it's so important to stay in that single file and not drop out, because the minute you drop out, you lose that airflow, you lose the power.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the story. Let's take a look a little deeper in the field, which is, I know as soon as we do is when the big one's going to happen up front. But we'll get back to the third pack, if you want to call that, as it looks like Mark C and Immortalis in the number 3 car are obviously had some kind of problem, and running at 40-second laps together tells me that their setups are off. Somebody's setup is not up to pace, because you can definitely get more straight line speed. I don't know what their telemetry's saying here. It looks like they might be a little off the pace because they're running a couple seconds back. Yeah, he's definitely off the pace. When you compare that to what, that's solo, mind you, but these guys, oh, we got a caution. That's what the deal is. I told you that's what it was. As soon as we pulled away. All right, how many cars we got in front? Who's moving back? HHVC. Yep, there's one of our cars. I believe he must have got into it with Cracked Piston, who was also up front, I think. He's coming in with damage. HHVC's coming in with damage. So they're on the pit lane now. So definitely, as soon as I pulled away, I called it. We're going to see the caution right then.
And a lot of that is a result, again, of not staying single file.
Yeah, moving around a little bit, yeah, at this point.
Moving around and trying, maybe, again, as we said, you might not necessarily be able to run with the guy directly in front of you or directly behind you, but even feathering off and just trying to stay together can relieve a lot of the situations that you're seeing like this.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm not thinking that anybody, those guys, they weren't doing anything that I would call egregious or overly aggressive. But
No,
I think they were feeling it out, and I think that the first time they tried to feel it out, it went wrong.
Yep, our leaders are pitting.
I expect to see everybody in the pits here at this point in the race. Everybody that can pit. There's probably a couple cars taking a lap back under the wave around. Survivor probably back there. Maybe iMotorsports. I think they were still on the lead lap. They were. I tell you what, though, that whole group from fifth on back was looking for that caution.
They were waiting for something, yeah.
Yeah, they needed it. They were losing time, and like I said, I think it has to do just with it. A lot depends on who's leading the line and who's trailing. You might have a car that has a lot of motor and can lead, but isn't good handling wise coming up through the, following through the group. And I think that maybe that's what you might have seen there. Looks like these guys made their service, got out, four tires and fuel, and
looking at the leaderboard, is McToasty now in the lead?
McToasty just piddling. I'm looking like they might have stayed out.
I think they stayed out.
I think maybe they think doesn't matter, we can't go the distance from here. I don't know that the pit window likely is not quite open yet, so I think that's what they're thinking. I'm going to have to pit under green anyway. Let's get some track position.
Exactly. Well, the question becomes there is, am I getting track position and hoping to pit under green? Am I expecting another yellow since we just had one now? Those are the thought processes you have to go through when you make that decision.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's really, I think in his case, like I said, McToasty's thinking exactly that. He's thinking, I was running back there, might as well try something. It looks like HHVC, he's got a long repair. He hasn't even out yet. Cracked Piston actually managed to make it. I think he just had a common wing change and managed to make it back to the end of the field. But he and Survivor are still one lap down.
Yeah, I think as they're going green now.
Yeah, they're lined up. They're going to be going green. HHVC still repairs in the pits. 11 cars still on the lead lap, and they're green.
We are going green. I don't think McToasty got a very good jump to start. I think his restart was a little off.
And that might give Revs Martin the chance to get right back to the lead in the Snapple car.
Father, son, coming around on the outside.
Yeah, you got Revs Martin and Super Crusher on the outside, just piddling to McToasty on the inside as these guys jockey for position 2x2 on the restart. McToasty, here's the question. I believe him and Just Piddling both stayed out. It's likely, I can tell you for sure here in just a moment, with the fuel they got on board and with the fuel Revs Martin's got on board, yeah, McToasty and Just Piddling stayed out, so they know they're pitting under green. I think everybody still has to pit under green, but what you're gambling here is that you're gambling on there not being a yellow while you're off cycle at pit stops.
And the other thing you're gambling on is your tires versus the newer tires that are coming up behind you.
Exactly, and right now so far it's holding out pretty well. The one advantage there is that the new tires got to heat up. They've gotten cold on the pace lap. And I think the old tires, yeah, you kind of kept them rolling. They maybe don't lose quite as much temperature. As we've already got the separation from 8th on back. Good time for the chase cam, the world's fastest drone, to follow iMotorsports in 8th, who's trying to hang on to the tail end here of the lead line.
This is an excellent example of how easy it is to lose the pack.
I don't think he has the motor, being honest with you. You hear that shifting, 5th gear, 220, and he's about maxing it. I think iMotorsports has a motor issue. Take a look at Muttley in the Menards car. Has a camera strapped to his helmet for us. Sponsored by Foster's. And Muttley back here in 7th, just hanging, waiting for his opportunity to catch that group. He's following Green Gaming, who was a veteran of the series, ran last season.
We still have over 29 minutes left in the race. So as we said earlier, you definitely can lose it here. You can't win it right now with 29 minutes remaining.
No, you're starting to think right now you're in Muttley's shoes or any of these guys' shoes. Green flag pit stops are coming up for some. Green flag pit stops are coming up for all at some point. That's what you're thinking about. I often have used the strategy of, if I think that maybe the race will go green, I'll get a partner and get off sequence. I think I can run faster with a clean line with the 2 or 3 of us than we can bouncing around with the whole group of cars like this. That being said,
and you saw that earlier in the beginning of the race when we had a 4 or 5, 6 car line. It just seemed that they were flying around.
Oh yeah. Click your mic on and off real quick, Joey. I think your connection is going bad a little there, but yeah, I think that's exactly what you were seeing early on. It's just a lot of feeling out. It's a lot of tension in that cockpit for the drivers. Just that sounds like a caution. We've got.
Yep. We're
that
slowing down.
Yeah, we got cars slowing down, so we have our second yellow, and it looks like Ed Yeager, unfortunately, the winner at Texas to close out the season last season. Not sure who he got into.
And he's got a long road back to the pits from there.
I don't see anybody else inching around, but he must have made contact with somebody for the yellow to come out, and he's got a lot of damage. That's a whole front wing and rear wing assembly, and I think that might have taken out one of our top contenders right there.
Tough break for Ed.
Cracked piston was already in the pits. Maybe that's who he made contact with. It's hard to tell. Both of them are getting extensive repairs. But meanwhile, here they are up front. McToasty was able to hold that lead. I don't know. This to me seems like time to pit. And
I was just going to ask you, do you hold off now or do you come in? And I think we're seeing...
I would come in because even if McToasty pits right now, maybe he's not going to come in. No, he's going to stay out again.
No, he's staying out.
That threw me because as did Super Crusher, but Super Crusher already pit. The thing is, if you're McToasty, you're leading the field and you pit now, you have just made that strategy of staying out on the last yellow work, because now you're back on sequence and you would have come out probably 3rd or 4th in line. So at this point...
And not only are you back on sequence, but you have newer tires.
Yeah, or you will have at least equal tires with the rest of the guys that are pitting with you. Big good chance everybody would come in, as they did, except for Super Crusher and I think Mark C decided to cycle up. Maybe he might just be coming around. As they get that sorted out, we'll check the scoring after they come out of the pits. But yeah, that was. I know he's got a strategy. Obviously, he doesn't think he can go the distance from here and still thinks there's another pit stop. But if you were within the window to where you think you can go the distance, then you would pit there and say, you know what, I just jumped up from about 10th to the top 5 by doing nothing more than staying out a few laps on old tires.
Another tough break, though, for Ed Yeager.
Yeah, I got to say, got to feel for him. Ed's a Yank driver who has been very, very solid. It looks like he's back in the field a lap down, so he's going to be hoping for the chance of the wave run. I don't think he only lost a lap. That was a lot of damage, and he got the yellow. He lost a lap, but another yellow could give him the wave around, and he could be right back in this. So maybe he's not quite done just yet in the Quiznos car. Seen a lot of Chevrolets.
Yeah, impressive work by the pit crew.
Yeah, they did the job. They got front wing and rear wing on that thing. And I was expecting it to be a 2 or 3 lap repair. We saw how long HHVC was in the pits. He's still 2 laps down. Cracked Piston is also 2 laps down. So I'm not really sure.
Coming up here to green, McToasty taking him to green. again, he didn't look like he had the greatest of restarts, but has definitely come up to speed coming into 1 through 2.
I don't think he has a good restart gear. And 2 times in a row, I don't think it's the driver. I think it's the car at this point.
Yeah, it's the car.
All right, a little bit of a separation there.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, it's the car.
Yeah, there you go. So working lap 26, 25 now. Muttley still looking for that first Flux IndyCar win, but as I said, he has been a winner in these cars in the past sanctioning bodies.
He's been very comfortable right now, running in 5th, staying in line. Veteran realizing that, again, you can't win it with 23 minutes remaining.
See what kind of gap he's got. A big gap separating right there. It's coming off the restart. Some guys, that's why I don't like being, and I understand, that's another reason why I guess I can understand McToastie's strategy there. If you get behind the wrong guy who doesn't get a good restart, you're basically stuck with him, and that's how we're seeing 3 and 4 second gaps open up right off the start. You know, a group of guys that don't get a synchronized restart together, you know, it's not just about you, it's about the ones that are around you. And it looks like Taijo's leading that pack, but they've lost, you know, 4 seconds to the tail end of the field in front of them. So once again, it separates up into 2 packs.
And again, if you have to ask yourself why they're separated, just take a look at the guys behind Taijo. Stay in line, and you're making up time.
Yeah, we'll see what their laps, can they hit the 37-second laps like these leaders are doing. I think these front cars are just fast, and they're fast enough together that if nobody separates them, they're going to have their share of problems. You got McToastie leading the pack. He's there in the it's the NTT data car, I believe. And then
Super Crusher running second.
Super Crusher's second right behind him in the DHL car.
Mark C in third. Just Puddin running fourth. And Muttley in 5th.
So a little bit of a separation back to 6th, 7th, 8th. Cat Guy still, gotta wonder, going to scroll through some of the vets here. Cat Guy, the Season 3 IndyCar champion 2 seasons ago, he just has not had any luck on the restarts now. He's off on his own now, running in 9th and just trying to hang on to the back of the second pack.
I'm wondering how much of that is calculated, because he's seen what he's looking at in front of him right now. I mean, we're seeing guys going into the trial at some points 3 wide. So I'm wondering how much of that, him being such a veteran, is an actual calculated watching situation. I don't want to get up into this. There's no need to get in right now. We still have over 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I'd give him that. Maybe if he was in the front pack. But he's in that second group, so Cat Guy's probably over the mic to the other drivers right now, going, "Line up, you fools! We're never gonna get there if you keep doing this." But if he was at the tail end of that front group, I would absolutely go for that argument. But right here, you can see he's decided, I'm moving forward. I'm not waiting for these guys.
If he was in the Muttley position right now, you can see it. But right now, it's more, I'm going to have to go and do what I got to do.
Yeah, that's what Muttley is doing right now. Muttley right now is in that car going, just piddling, how much can I trust you? Because they just lost the front guys. They've fallen back 3 seconds. So something happened to them too. So they're in the same situation.
And at a point like that, Carlin, you being a veteran driver, would that be a point where maybe he's having a hard time with Just Piddling in front of him? You might want to contact him and say, "Hey, let's switch places."
I would think so. Obviously, I think so. We got a big wreck in the back somewhere.
Oh.
So Survivor's around. Taijo is into the wall. Green Gaiman looks like he's coming through it. Cat Guy got some of it. So Cat Guy, Taijo, Green Gaiman, they're all involved here. Something happened. You saw it in the back of the screen as they started going around. It looked to me, they're coming off of turn 2. Did not see it, but with enough experience, I'm going to guess somebody was pushing towards the outside. They tried to overcorrect to keep it off the wall. They started spinning. It came down, and that was that.
And Taijo, if you can go back to Taijo, try to get a cockpit, heavy damage. He's having a hard time just keeping it on the track at this point.
Yeah, he's crab walking. back to the pit lane. I don't know that he's gonna lose a lap just getting back to the pit lane. So the reigning champ has a problem here. That's one of those unavoidable things. One of the guys lost it in front of you, loses it coming off the wall when you're running in a group, and you can't give too much room because you're trying to draft together to get back to the front guys. And
at the same time, there's nowhere to go.
Same thing, Cat Guy is going to end up in the pit lane as well. I don't know that his damage is quite as extensive. Looks like he still had the wings on, but he might be in there for a while. Meanwhile, we're going to see the pits opening up. I would be shocked if McToasty doesn't pit this time. I mean, I would think he almost has to. Our two main leaders have been Revs Martin and McToasty.
32 laps on those tires?
32 laps of tires and fuel. He's running out of fuel, too. So we got a couple of guys that are taking their wave around. I see 3 cars going around right now. Ty Joe and Cat Guy are still in the pits getting repaired. And here comes the front 8 or 9 cars to pit.
Toasty Super Crusher.
Let's see how they come out. This is going to be a pit lane battle. I'm going to take the one at the back of the field here so we can see everybody in front of them and see who comes out. That's Green Gaiman in 7th. Now here's the thing. Green Gaiman's taken a lot of flack for the incident points he's built up in the league. But 2 seasons ago, in the inaugural IndyCar championship, this guy was 2nd place in the championship. Cat Guy was well out in front with the 4-win season, but Green Gaiman was consistently finishing right around the top 5, 5th, 6th, 7th, a podium, I think 1 top 4. That was enough to get him to 2nd place because nobody, he never failed to get the car fixed and get back out. And it looks like Muttley had the quickest pit stop there. Muttley was our fastest pit stop. Probably knew enough to turn repair off, because even if you're not making a repair, it might add a second or second and a half as they look, because they tend to look the car over, I think, when you have repair queued in. I think Muttley knew to turn that off because he jumped. Revs Martin in 2nd, Super Crusher 3rd, and McToasty came in as the leader and comes out in 4th. So he might have had a little something to fix there. As it looks now, I see lead lap cars going all the way back to 10th. And we've got Cat Guy, HHBC, Cracked Piston, both 1 lap down, and then Ty Joe still in the pits repairing. He's going to be several laps down by the time we get going.
Unfortunately, I think Ty Joe is going to be in there for quite some time. That was a heavy shot, and to watch him crabbing it around, there's a lot of damage to that car.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. And I think coming back, Muttley going to be leading us back to the line. As we said, number of former IndyCar winners in the 2 seasons here. Cat Guy with 4 wins is the all-time leader. We have no Bruce Law here, but McToasty's won 3 IndyCar races in the 2 seasons of competition. So McToasty tied for the 2nd winningest driver in the league. And Ed Yeager, another former winner out here. So didn't think about that. McToasty wins tonight. He ties the Flux all-time record. And they're staying under yellow. Obviously, they saw the need to wave it off for another lap.
Yeah, I think there's some of the guys in the back are still trying to form up, and I can actually see somebody back there.
You can see cars moving back. I think those are the wave arounds. I think they had to get the wave arounds to the back of the field, and the race marshals will just wave it off for another lap. First race of the season, especially with a field of guys who are just getting used to the traditional speedway caution rules that we brought over here with us to Flux.
And guys who have never raced with each other before.
Exactly. Early in the season, it's going to take a while to get it going. By the later points in the season, you'll see the caution procedures go bang, 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 as guys know where they're supposed to be, what the procedures are. It gets, guys get a lot better at it. You obviously don't have these procedures on the road courses, but by the time we get to Indianapolis in 3 weeks, I think the guys will be more comfortable with it. But go ahead and give us a rundown for us there, Joe.
Well, we got Muttley leading the field, Revs Martin in 2nd, Super Crusher in 3rd, McToasty running in 4th, Just Pidlin in 5th, Green Gaming in 6th, Ed Yeager up to 7th, Mark C in 8th, Immortalist UK running 9th, Survivor 1880 in 10th, Cracked Piston 11th, HHVC 12th, Cat Guy running 13th, and Ty Joe in 14th.
He's made his way back up to the field. As you see, we talked about Ed Yeager. What is it, 10 minutes ago we were saying it's a shame to see him out. He's back on the lead lap in 7th place.
Unbelievable.
That's why you don't give up.
The pit crew and the driver.
That's why you don't give up.
Exactly. Looks like we're coming to green. Muttley leads him off.
Looks like Mark C's hitting the pit lane right as we go green. Maybe he had some kind of problem, but meanwhile, back on the track, Muttley gets a good start. But you don't want to get too good of a start at Daytona. They will run you right back down.
Yep, they will line up and catch you. Super Crusher in 2nd. Revs Martin in 3rd, so father-son running 2nd and 3rd.
I'm going to try to get to where the action is here. Let's get on to Ed here in 7th. As he watches watches Cat Guy come squirreling by a lap down. Cat Guy wants to get back on the lead lap the old-fashioned way.
Oh!
Oh, and there he goes.
And we got and we got another caution, I think, coming out.
Be surprised if we don't. Ty Joe, cracked pistons in the middle of the track.
Cracked pistons in the middle of the track. We have a caution.
That's going to be our 4th full course yellow of the race. We went green for a long time, but what's that old saying? What's that old saying there, JM?
Cautions breed cautions.
Absolutely. Getting on the restart. We're getting late in the race. The guys are getting antsy. That's what happens when the guys get antsy. You see mistakes like that. Clock's ticking. Right off of a restart, too.
Yep, and I'm sure they've got I'm sure they're in each other's ear right now saying just that.
Ed Yeager just lost that lap that he just gained. So the racing god's not smiling upon Ed, who I think knowing Ed, competent driver on the road courses, do not get me wrong. And by no means saying he can't compete on the road courses, but he really is more of an oval specialist. So looking at your calendar with him, you're thinking to yourself, I need to maximize everything that I can get out of the 3 oval races and then do the best I can get on the, pick up the scraps on the 5 road course races. And I think a bad finish here is going to affect his championship. It certainly will.
It's going to impede the chase, I'll tell you that. I've been really impressed with Super Crusher. Very impressed with the way he's run. It's the first time I've had a chance to watch him run. Been very consistent.
Oh yeah, Super Crusher is a former winner in the sports cars. He has a win in the GTE class, and he's been competitive both seasons of the IndyCar championship. This is the first time he's had his dad, Revs Martin, as a teammate, and that I think that testing help of having a partner like that has helped him out. But he and Revs both have come prepared for this race. You can definitely tell the way they were running in practice, the way they're running right now. They ran laps together. They are prepared for. You saw what they did in practice, getting into the pits, getting out of the pits. They obviously did not just show up at Daytona with a hauler and a dream.
And I'm wondering on how many of these other teams are going to kind of take note of this. And you may see some phone calls during the week saying, hey, how about working together? Care to do some practice? And you may see some guys actually doing that.
Yeah, you'll see guys start pairing up because if you share the test data, I know guys used to come to me constantly, not so much for setup information, but for the way that I built the what I called race maps and the race strategy and the pit stop cycles, and I could sit down and draw out, these are the 3 or 4 different scenarios you could use, and guys would want to partner up with me just for that. Guys would say, I'll give you my setup if you'll set my race strategy, and that's always something you can do as well. But either way, Super Crusher and Revs Martin, they've come out here in those Hondas and done exactly that. They obviously have a game plan. They're running first and third. They're coming back for the restart here.
And Muttley is the meat in the sandwich right now.
Yes, he is. Let's go all the way to the back with the chase cam here and see what we're on with Ed Yeager, who's back to being a lap down. 10 minutes to go. You remember, guys, the final 5 minutes to the finish are green to the finish. There are no more cautions after 5 minutes to go.
We are green to go now.
Green to go on 38. Not a great start for Ed, but I'm sure he's just revving it up to power.
I think at this point, poor Ed's thinking to himself, what do I have to do?
Going to take it on the chase cam here for a minute just because it's going to give us a real good look at the action. The back group here
Kaijo was in that tough wreck earlier, and actually looks like he's making up some positions.
Yeah, he's still running a lap down. Those guys need one more yellow before the 5-minute mark. If they don't get that yellow, it's not looking real good for them to get back on the lead lap. You're not going to drive your way back at this point. So they need one more caution real quick. But meanwhile, this whole front group of 9 still very much in it. HHVC's got himself back after getting the damage. Like, anytime you get the damage, stay at it, because if you get a couple cautions, a couple wave rounds will get you right back on the lead lap.
And anything can happen.
Absolutely, and right now that's how they're running. Let's take a look up front. Still Super Crusher, Muttley, Revs Martin, McToasty.
Yep, Muttley's holding his own right now. He's basically staying right in Super Crusher's wake.
And 9 cars in that group. Running awfully close.
Also pretty impressed with McToasty right now, too, as he's staying right up there.
He's hung out this whole race. He did that pit strategy. He stayed up front on the older tires, which, I mean, this is Daytona. It's not Long Beach, but still.
And just as I say that, Cat Guy moves to the outside.
Goes right by him. Cat Guy's making that work on the outside in the 61 PureTech car. He's all the way up to 3rd and moving on Muttley for 2nd.
That was a terrific run by Cat Guy coming off of 4.
Yeah, that was a champion.
Oh, big wreck behind.
Survivor again. And looks like HHVC Ed Yeager gets into it, coming up upon it. But it looks like Survivor was the car that might have instigated that one. He came around in a hurry. Him and HHVC were running close. And there's the caution that those guys were hoping and praying for. With just less than 8 minutes to go, I can be almost certain that's going to be the 5th and final caution. So too many cautions than we wanted to see. But for a lot of rookies in the field and a brand new season, not totally surprised. But that's going to put these 3 guys back on the lead lap, or at least 2 of them. Ed Yeager's taking another beating, and I don't think he's going to be repaired in time.
And I think you're correct at this being the last caution. Simply based on, if you can do me a favor, go back to HHVC.
Yeah.
He's crab walking it now, and he's just going into 2.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to get him around.
By the time he gets around,
as long as he's off the racing, as long as he's off the racing line, they will go green, even if he's on the backstretch down on the apron or coming down towards the entrance to the pit lane. But hard to tell what happened there. But I do know that the little bit I was watching throughout the race, Survivor's been kind of dangling it out there up near the wall, and my guess is one of those 2 banged in, and I think HHVC just decided to park the car. So we have our 2nd DNF. I think he's going to let the hauler come out and tow him into the pit lane, which is a shame.
It's a shame, but it might be best with only 6 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to get repaired and get out and get in a position. The problem is that you don't score if you don't finish. And I would want even those few points for finishing down near the bottom of the pack. So
take what you can get.
I would have crab walked it and said, guys, I'll keep it on the bottom, do what you got to do. But yeah, he just decided that it was, rather than 2 or 3 points, he'd rather just get out of there. But that's a shame for him. He had a good run. I mean, he was running good in qualifying. He was running up near the top 5, 6th, 7th for good portions of the race. And you don't know what happened there. One of them hit the wall and came across down on the other one. Either way, it's just bad luck and misfortune for both of them. I think
the leaders are coming up, and I think we're going to go green.
I believe the pits have to open.
Yeah, I think the pits have to open. Okay, as a member of the lead pack, do you pit?
Depends on where I'm at. Anywhere beyond about 4th or 5th place, I would pit.
And they're all going by.
Let's see if I don't think they're going to be going green, but let's see. No, they are.
No, they're going green.
I guess they had the pits open the first time they went by there.
Oh!
And somebody goes to the inside. And that was Revs Martin. Was that by himself?
Martin. He was all by himself.
That looked like he was on his lonesome.
Yep, he was all by himself.
I didn't see any contact from anybody. He just shot down to the inside. That's a shame because he was running. He led the first 15, 16 laps of this race.
I'm wondering if it was a tire spin coming off the restart.
Had to be. Had to be going into the corner. Something happened there. That's a shame because he was having a great race. He led, as we said, the first 15, 20 laps of this race. And with that, we've got 4 cars out in front on their lonesome with another group of 5 behind them.
And think about this, Carlin. Not too long ago, we were talking about Cat Guy being back and wondering if it was on purpose. And look who's in third.
Oh yeah, he stopped messing around. He came around that second group, came right through this pack, went to the outside and passed them all, and he's going straight to the front now. We're inside of 5 minutes, so there are no more full course yellows. Any incidents that happen now, you got to dodge it and keep driving. It's a speed racer time here, but right now, Super Crusher, he's looking for his first career win in the series. Muttley's looking for his first career win, and Taijo is looking for his 4th to match Cat Guy, so there's all kinds of drama going on here in the last few minutes, with that other pack behind just hoping for them to have problems and catch up to them.
I think at this point, though, that second pack, it's basically begging for a mistake.
Yeah, you got a bad restart. It's really hard to stay with the front group on a restart, and that's why track position is important. As we get into the cockpit with McToasty here, let's see what he's looking at.
He's looking at Cat Guy trying to go around the outside, but it looks like
Super Crusher and Muttley are staying lined up right now.
Super Crusher and Muttley are staying right together.
Yeah, they're staying lined up. Cat Guy's thinking, McToasty, are you coming with me? He's doing the Jim Brewer from Hot Half Baked thing. Who's coming with me? And he's waiting for him. Yeah, he's waiting for him to show up and seeing if he'll go. And the reality is for McToasty, when you're in his position, I used to have this debate when we would run a Daytona race and you wouldn't like how it finished. And I turn to the guy and say, why'd you make that decision? And then I'd say, listen, man, like if it was a McToasty, you go with the line on the inside, the best you're going to do is 3rd. You go with me, you might at least get 2nd.
Yeah, you might have a chance.
Yeah, you might even be able to whip by me.
And it's almost like he can hear you because here's McToasty pulling up behind Cat Guy.
Yep, 2:20 to go. We'll tell you, we're only down to like 3 or 4 laps. We'll tell you when it looks like we have a number for when the white flag is. But it looks like, yeah, that's what they're doing. McToasty's lining up with Cat Guy, Muttley and Super Crusher. You're talking about 2 guys there, Cat Guy and Muttley, that if we continue the lineage from when we stopped racing in the last league, these guys have been running together 15, 16 seasons in these Indy cars. They know each other. They both won races in this class of racing before. And I think we could be pretty confident to say that you're looking at the podium +1. Yeah, unless something goes wrong for these guys, they're pulling away from that group behind them. There's just Piddlin.
Exactly.
They got a group of 5 that's fighting, and don't discount that. We're going to stay with the lead, but don't discount that. That's a big point swing from the front of that group to the back of that group, as is this one.
Super Crusher staying in the lead. Cat Guy right on his wake.
And these guys, like we said, they're hitting 240 down the longest part of the straightaway, and you need to build up the momentum to make a run. Cat Guy's still trying for it.
He's trying to get on the outside of Muttley. They've got
2 to go from here with that time. This is 2 to go from this point, I believe. So 5 miles left.
Yeah, you're about right. I think when we get back to the line, it'll be 1 to go. White flag. And I think you can see Cat Guy realizing that's exactly where we're at. Incredible racing up front.
They had an incident in that back group because a couple of cars just fell back. I just want to see real quick if there's any wrecks. No, they just fell behind.
Coming off of 4.
Yeah, this is going to be the white flag.
1 lap remaining. Super Crusher, Muttley, Cat Guy, and McToasty.
If I remember correctly, we've got 2 Aussies and 2 Yanks right now. Racing for the Flux win at Daytona, opening up the IndyCar season for 2021 Season 3, the 5th season of Flux competition. Here he goes.
Muttley outside to try to make a move.
Cat Guy goes inside of him. Muttley's he gets into Cat Guy.
Huge wreck.
Cat Guy goes flying.
McToasty finishes 2nd, I believe.
Yes. Super Crusher got it. Oh, Super Crusher got it. But looking for the wreck. It looks like Muttley came off the wall and just caught the wing. Just caught the wing of Cat Guy. And that was all it took right there. Cat Guy's limping it around. Is he going to be able to limp it? Look at him right here. He's trying to hold on to 6th.
Trying to get the 4th. Or the
Can 6th. He get it? He's going to get...
And 7th.
I think maybe he's going to hold on to 7th place.
Oh, he got 7th.
Green Gaiman's going to get a penalty for the way he just crossed the line, I believe. But yeah, I think it's Super Crusher who's going to cross it. Yes, and
yes,
there it is. Getting his first career win in the Flux IndyCar Championship is Super Crusher.
Congratulations to Super Crusher.
I'll let you give the rundown here, Joey, when you're ready.
Yeah, let's start it from the winner, Super Crusher 008. Picks up his first win in the Flux Motorsports Indy Racing League. McTosi coming in second. Muttley in third. Jess Pittelin finishes 4th. Taijo, after a major incident fairly late in the race, finishes 5th. Cat Guy with a tough 6th. Green Gaming comes in 7th. Immortalis UK 8th. Survivor 1880 finishes 9th. Mark 6th and 10th. Rebs Martin finishes 11th. Ed Yeager finishes 12th. Cracked Piston into 13th. HHVC in 14th.
As the retired cars. Yeah, what the thing I want to point out there is, I mean, tough day. Cat Guy managed to limp it across the line and save 6th place after that unfortunate incident at the end. Muttley thought he was clear, probably just clipped his wing, and that's all it took for Cat Guy to use up about 6 of his 9 lives. But
and that's a huge difference in points as well.
It is a big swing in points, but managing to hold 6th and not fall back to 10th or 11th, that's a big thing as well. He also gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, the 36.990 that Cat put up, is going to earn him a bonus point. So looks like, yeah, I got to say, fantastic race by Super Crusher. Gets his first win. He's been knocking on the door. McTosi coming in second, and Muttley, as we said to watch him at Daytona, gets in third. Just a fantastic run altogether for these guys. We had our cautions with 5, but I thought overall the guys ran a pretty smart race. Those were all racing incidents and misjudgments by guys, not over-aggressive racing. But any final thoughts, Joe?
No, I thought it was an outstanding run by Super Crusher. Was basically up front all night. Was in the lead pack just about all night. Very impressed with 3 of the veterans, Taijo, Cat Guy, and Ed Yeager, going through it all tonight, seeing it from just about every angle you could possibly see it. And yet here's Taijo, again, as I stated after that really tough wreck, finishing 5th.
Yeah, Cat Guy managed 6th. You got to give a shout. Ed Yeager and Revs Martin, the pole sitter. Tough break. I mean, Revs led the first 15, 20 laps of this race. He got in a big accident. But his teammate, obviously, and his boy wins here at Daytona, so he's got to be happy about that. And I guess before I turn it over to you to say good night, I'll remind all the drivers, check out fluxmotorsport.com to get involved. That'll hook you up to the Discord. And we'll be back tomorrow night for the American Sports Car Championship. The GTEs will be running at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight UK. And then at 8:30 Eastern, 1:30 UK, they're running the LMP2s. So 2 classes of the American sports cars tomorrow. And then on Sunday, 8 p.m. Australian time, the inaugural race of the brand new Flux V8 Supercars Championship at Dubai. So heading to Willow Springs next week for the next round of the IndyCar Championship. And I'll let you lead us out, Joe.
Yep. Off to the road courses next week at Willow Springs. So for Carlin Hicks, my name is Joey Maynard. Thank you so much for joining us here at Daytona International Speedway. Look forward to seeing you all again next week. Have a great night.